Yes, Modgies, how are you guys doing? Hope you're doing great. Today we've got a really quick little tutorial on a Serum patch which uses some nice counter rhythms. And yeah, it's a little technique that's really simple and easy, straightforward, but it's a good idea. It could give you some inspiration for your next sound design patch. And yeah, I've called this preset the Mushroom Forest, and it sounds like this. And so the concept is we're basically going to be making this sort of two parts to the sound, like a bit of a counter rhythm, with two separate LFOs, both modulating two different oscillators independently. All right. So yeah, once we've got that movement going, we'll add in a lovely sub bass underneath it all, put a bit of movement on that, and then we'll do a little bit of filtering, and we're going to put some noise into the oscillators as well. And then we're going to jump over to the effects, okay? So firstly, the key is to have two LFOs at different speeds, modulating two different oscillators. And we're actually going to be modulating the level of them, turning them on and off via the LFO on the level. And we're also going to be modulating the wavetable position on both, so they also have a movement to them as well. So let's start with the first one. This one is on LFO 2. I've done it sort of in a confusing way. Oscillator A is LFO 2 and oscillator B is LFO 1. All right, that's just my brain being weird. But yeah, first one. This is the slow one. So this is the rate here is 1/4 dotted, and both the LFOs we're basically using like a ramp down, like a saw down, with a curve, okay, and a bit of smoothing on both of them as well. Not sure, you can probably see that. Yeah, a bit of smoothing on both LFOs. But yeah, the first one here, nice slow dotted rhythm, and yeah, like I said, it's set to the level of the oscillator and also the wavetable position. And this oscillator is we're using quite organic kind of sounds for both. We're using the vowel folder for both oscillators. First one, oscillator A on the allophones, and this is the sort of slow bassy part to the sound underneath everything. I'm leaving the unison off on both of these, so they're quite sort of mono, but we're going to add loads of stereo effects afterwards. I've done some hard clipping as well, just distorting. I really like that you can distort the wavetables directly in Serum. I think that's really cool, actually. It's something I'm doing more of now, because I get a bit more control over the sound. I can put a bit more grit into the sound early on, which I like. And then we also have some noise coming in. So I really love the Geiger counter noise, because I'm a big fan of games like Fallout and stuff like that. And it feels like it's kind of like inspired by that, you know, or not really. It's a Geiger counter from radioactive material, isn't it? But it just sounds like a nice noise. It sounds like slightly different to white noise, so I quite like it. But anyway, we basically sorry, I've got a bit of a loose cable on these headphones. I've had these Sennheiser HD25s for absolute years. Like when I first ever DJ'd, I was using these, so I've probably had them for over 10 years. They're still working, kind of. Come on, mate, come on, you got this. Okay, sorry, I'm not going to edit that out, so I'm going to make you suffer through that pointless waste of your life. Anyway, so the noise comes in here on the PD, on the Puff Daddy. And I'm doing this on both oscillators, but the first one here, we're just having a little bit. I think it's around 40% or so, 41. But yeah, love putting a bit of that fizz on top of the sound, you know. All right, the level of the actual Geiger counter noise is off on the direct output here. It's only going to be heard through the FM into the oscillators, okay? All right, next one. So this is the first one was the allophones, and the second one in the same folder is the E, yeah? And this is 1 octave higher. And here we've got the same technique, but with the LFOs, but just a different speed. So the first one was slower because it's 1/4 dotted. And this one is faster because it's actually directly 1/4. And yeah, again, it's on the level going from 0 all the way to 100. And then it's also on the wavetable position again. Starts up already a little bit higher, 54, and then goes up to 178. And again, that just puts a bit more of a spring in the step of the sound, you know? It almost feels like a little bit of a mouth harp, this one. Yeah, a bit sort of psychedelic, psytrancey vibes, psytrancey drum and bass vibes. That's why it's called the Mushroom Forest. Anyway, yeah, now we've got the counter rhythm set up. We've got the 2 rhythms going, which is great. And we can now add in the sub bass. And I've programmed the sub to sort of follow along the rhythms of both, right? So the sub starts up with the level around 30%. So it's always got a bit of bass in, like, sustained. But then I've actually put the slower LFO onto the sub, smashed that up sort of 61% or so. And then I've also put the faster LFO onto the sub, a little bit lower, about 51%. So the sub is actually going to follow both of them. So we're sort of going to get that sub increase in line with both of the movements together. All right, and that's basically it. I also should mention the oscillator B here also has a bit of distortion, just a different tonality. And again, we have the noise on this one as well. It's a little bit higher on this one. It's a few percent higher. So the noise helps to balance the depth of the sounds, like how close to the U they feel as well, because obviously it makes it brighter. And so I kind of wanted the bass one to be slightly further behind and the shorter, higher pitched sort of part of the sound here on the E, slightly brighter. So there's a little bit of a difference between them in terms of how much high end they have. So the low slow one's like a tiny bit softer, a tiny bit behind it, you know. So just trying to pay attention to the depth of the 2 sounds, give them like more separation by doing that. Then we filter everything. Now it's a case of just enhancing everything together, like as one, gluing it all together in a sense, but just actually enhancing the sound quality of the whole thing. So the notch filter first. I've just put the slow movement on the cutoff here. Could have done the fast one, but I just went for the slow option. And again, it's only a small movement, sort of between 84 hertz and 350 hertz, targeting the low mids, really. Yeah, drive up 30%. Yeah, nice and simple, but it makes a big difference. Big difference to the saturation, the volume, and also the tightness. Essentially, it tightens the whole shape up as well, you know. That's everything done really in the oscillator section. Now we just go on to the effects, and I went crazy with the bode again. I love this one. This kind of does 70% of the work in the effects section. 100%. It sounds wicked, but then I've lost all of the sort of mono part and the transients and everything. So I did mix it in, but quite high, about 36%. So really got, sacrificed a bit of the mono, but got a massive amount of stereo instead. And the blur is all the way up. I just balance out the direction and the shift and range a little bit to find the tonality of the frequency shifter that sounds best. Then we've got a touch of delay, off the grid, ping pong, very, very short, taking out a tiny bit of low end, only about 9%. Little realistic delay tails on the sound. Convolution next, extra harmonics, growlish. I love the growlish one. My 2 favourites are the growlish and the digital gated. They both work quite well. At the moment I'm just sort of flicking between those 2 on each preset to figure out which one has the best result, because every sound's different. But those 2 have, for me, the highest success rate to getting like a nice convolution harmonics that also beef up a little bit the low end as well. So we're on about 14% on that guy. Then we've got the hyperdimension, just the dimension on this one, 15% and 17%. If you left it off, it wouldn't be the end of the world, but it does add a slight bit of extra width and warmth, a little bit, you know, a few percent. So I like it on there. Then I've got another filter to tweak everything together. The peak 12. And yes, subtle one. There is a little bit of movement happening on the fast cutoff here. You can just about see the line is slightly moving, but basically it's mainly really the drive on the filter that is what's making the difference here, because the filter drives just sound great. So sometimes actually having not even so much filtering, but just using the drive part tone on the filter is something I like to do. Then a tiny bit of EQing, a little bit of a boost in the high end around 2.5K. Nice wide one. It's very subtle. And then we finish off with distortion and reverb, and the distortion on the low high splitter, everything above 1.6K. It's quite a nice thump on with the sine shaper. Just trying to dial that one in so it's not too extreme, but it definitely adds quite a lot. At least sort of 10-15% extra, 10% maybe extra high-end sort of presence and saturation. Then a touch of reverb at the end. I don't often use the vintage one, but it sounded really good on this sound. It has this sort of delayed, it's got like a really big delay on it, the reverb, and the pre-delay is actually off, but it's naturally got such a like long delay before the reverb kicks in. But for some reason it just worked in the groove. So yeah, we mix that in around 12%. But yeah, it just fills out these little extra gaps in between the two rhythms and just makes the sound a bit fuller. And puts it into a bit of a space as well. But yeah, that's the Mushroom Forest all wrapped up then. Yeah, I really like this one actually, but it's just an inspirational idea for you guys. Simple technique of creating a counter rhythm, basically with two LFOs at separate speeds, controlling the levels and the wavetable positions of two separate oscillators at different pitches as well. Reinforcing it all with a sub underneath, peppering some noise on top of both via the FM section, and then filtering and affecting everything together to taste. That's basically it today, the Mushroom Forest. There you go. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. May I take this quick moment to remind you as well, I have a preset pack for Serum on my website, and there should be some more coming in the future at some point as well. You can get also Vital presets and Phase Plant presets over there. Links are down below. I also have a wonderful Patreon community where I drop exclusive Serum presets. Maybe I'll drop this one, not sure yet, but there's loads of exclusive Serum sounds on Patreon, plus a lot more going on over there. You can join from as little as €1 a month, and you'll get access to loads of free stuff after that. And yeah, I also have one-on-one production lessons available. You can email me if you need more information, or book directly in if you want to via the links down below. And if you want mixing and mastering, also you can email me. You can email me your track as a if you just want me to have a look over it and see if I think it's ready for mastering before you pay for the services. That's fine as well. So that's it from me today then, my G's. There'll be more from me very soon. Take care and much love.